Hi, and welcome to the Soul Essentials Aromatherapy Safety and Practical Home Use Tips segment. I am so excited that you are here with us. My name is Jennifer Pressimone. I am the Soul Essentials formulator, and I am going to be sharing some really good aromatherapy tips for you, some safety guidelines, and some ways that you can implement and use the essential oil blends, the compass blends at home. So aromatherapy safety. Aromatherapy in general has a plethora of therapeutic benefits and uses, everything, head to toe, physical, mental, emotional support, energetic, environmental. When we talk essential oils, we are talking about the extraction of the plant. So when we distill plants, when it goes through an extraction process, it produces this beautiful essential oil, and that essential oil is upwards of 100 times more potent than the herb form. And the reason I tell you that is so that you understand essential oils are strong, they're potent, they're therapeutic. So more is not always better. You get a lot of power and a lot of benefits from just one drop. Now, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about pure essential oils, not adulterated, not fragrance oils, not cut or genetically modified oils. All of our essential oil blends and the essential oils within the Compass blends were, a labor of love to find you only the best quality from sustainable farms, doing the right thing, growing the material, growing the plants in the right conditions, and then doing the proper extraction process on those. So we do have extremely high quality in our essential oils. So they are going to be more potent. And they're delivering these therapeutic properties. They're delivering energetic frequencies that together help to shift and balance and harmonize our body and our mind. We will be talking about specific safety guidelines because my goal for you is to aromatherapy responsibly. Aromatherapy is beautiful, it works, it's powerful, but we do have to follow certain guidelines to keep us safe and to keep us enjoying this, beautiful combination of an art and science therapy. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So what I'm going to tell you to do to aromatherapy responsibly for yourself is to make sure, do what you know, use what you know. If you don't know about something, you need to learn about it. You need to understand it. I'm so thrilled that you're here learning with us today because you are empowering yourself with knowledge. And, with knowledge, you're able to develop and practice your skills so that you become more proficient, you become more competent, confident in what you are doing. So understand what you're doing, and more importantly, understand why you're doing it. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information with you, but I'm empowering you with knowledge. I'm empowering you with facts. You then will take this information to process that and translate that into what that means to you. So when we are aromatherapy responsibly, do what you know, understand what you're doing, understand why you are doing it, because that's, at the end of the day, you have to choose what's right for you, and use common sense when you are applying, application, when you're applying benefits and creating, what aromatherapy blend is going to be right for you. Practice the skills, practice the knowledge, because that will give you the confidence. I am going to be sharing some safety guidelines of my own, along with the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, because they really have set the standards in aromatherapy safety. So with safety, three things. it's going to be your knowledge. It comes down to the frequency. How often do you use it, and the dilution? So many times I get questions of, can I do this? Is this safe? It really comes down to, what do you know? How often are you using it? And how strong of a dilution are you using? So, some specific guidelines that I want you to follow to keep you safe, to keep you aromatherapy responsibly, and just really be able to enjoy the power of the Soul Essential blends that we have put together for you, as well as the pre-diluted compass blends that we have created for you as well. So when you have your essential oils, I want you to store them in a proper location, keeping them out of the reach of children, of pets, and those with dementia. Oftentimes people with dementia, they might try to grab the bottles and drink them. So we just want to be careful there. Essential oils are not fat soluble, they're water soluble. Or they are fat soluble, they are not water soluble. Meaning, if you were to drop the essential oil blends, the balance, calm, clarify, and lift, if you were to drop that in your bath water, it will not emulsify. It's going to sit on top of the water. For people with sensitive skin, for people with certain health conditions, sensitive areas on the body, that could be affected. And so I want to talk about making sure that when you're using your essential oil blends, the Soul Essentials, to know that they are fat soluble, not water soluble. So we want to have them in a carrier, and we will be talking about that. Using a carrier to be safe, to nourish the skin. Using a carrier also enhances the utilization and the uptake of how the body processes that essential oil. There may be times that you might need to use one of the blends neat. Neat also means topically undiluted. I am not a huge advocate of undiluted all the time, but there sometimes may call for a situation like an insect bite, a burn, something of that nature, where I may grab the Calm essential oil blend and apply that to, the bug bite to stop the itching, because, it's great to stop that itching, the redness, the irritation pretty quickly. So when you're using it that way, it's for a short frequency, follow the safety guidelines, cross-reference any contraindications before you use those blends neat. But I do recommend putting them in a carrier like the Solflex AC cream, because that's, one of the most incredible carriers I've come across and that I've worked with. No ingestion unless you are highly trained and you understand why you're doing it and what it's doing for you. Know the health state of you and your clients, because essential oils are processed in our fluid systems. They're excreted through the kidneys, the liver, the lymph, our sweat, when we breathe out. So they do have to be metabolized within our body. Even when we inhale them, when you're using them topically on the skin, we have to be able to process those. And so you have to know the condition of the liver and the kidneys, especially, because if they're deficient in any way, it can cause increased irritation. So we want to be mindful there. And then again, with the ingestion, it's not something that I recommend unless you are highly trained and there's really a specific situational issue at hand, because we have seen huge increase in esophageal burning, irritation of the lining and the membranes. And so we want to use caution. Contraindications. You want to be mindful and to assess yourself and the person that you're working with or that you're talking with about any particular health conditions that might be going on, because there's some that might be contraindicated, some essential oils that might be contraindicated with prescription use. Might be some interactions. And so you just want to do a proper dialogue and conversation to make sure that you understand what they need, where they are right now. They understand what they need to cross-reference, because it's not about you telling them what to do. It's about you educating them with the information they need to make the right decision for themselves. Everybody is responsible for themselves. no ingestion or undiluted use, especially with certain health conditions. Studies, a lot of the research studies that are out there showing contraindications are done so with people who have used aromatherapy improperly. They've ingested large amounts. It's not been a good quality, and not in a well ventilated area, and they had high chronic health conditions going on. So again, being mindful, people who are on blood thinners, if you have epilepsy, asthma, allergies, cardiovascular distress, high blood pressure, we just want to use caution. During pregnancy and breastfeeding, you just want to make sure you're not overstimulating. And then one note that I want to put here is mint. So there is spearmint in the Clarify, is an anti-galactagogue. Even though that blend has phenol in it, which is a galactagogue, I still want to be mindful that, all of the blends, when I have formulated them, they are very balanced in every way you can imagine. But with breastfeeding, because the mint is pretty powerful, it can dry up that breast milk. And so we just want to use it sparingly, diffusing it in the air, small amounts, not topical use with the Clarify during the breastfeeding. And then specifically with our 4 essential oil blends that are also in the Compass blends, the Balance blend is pretty non-irritating. And so, the Mei Chang in there can be a little strong if it's used on the skin undiluted. So I recommend the Balance in a carrier, and the Solflex AC cream is amazing. The Calm blend is pretty great. I just want to mention that there is a rare allergy. It's very rare, but I do want to bring it up for people with ragweed allergies. With Clarify, there is rosemary in here, and rosemary is contraindicated with high blood pressure. However, I have a great balance of spearmint in here that balances that out. But if you have really high blood pressure, I just want you to be mindful of that. My job is to educate you so you can make the best decision for yourself. And those with epilepsy, there's a lot of studies showing phenol has induced epilepsy. However, those research studies are for people who ingested that in large amounts, and they were used undiluted. Phenol in the Clarify blend is pretty balanced out. So if that's the case for you, just make sure that it's diluted in the Solflex AC cream. And then in the Compass blends, they are already pre-diluted. And the Lift blend, cinnamon is a natural blood thinner. So for people with blood issues, blood thinning issues on blood thinners, and for a woman during their menses cycle, it can increase that. So those are some things that I just want you to be mindful of. Now, here's a dilution ratio chart, because this is a common question that I get, is how much do I use with who? So I've broken this down here for an infant, a child, a teenager, an adult, elderly, especially with sensitivities, the body physiologically and psychological changes that occur as we age, and then also with animals, because a lot of us have pets as our family member. And so we have to make sure that we take care of them too. And so pets and infants will be very similar in the amount that you use. So if you're making up a certain size, I've given you some sizes here, and then how many total drops. That means if you combine Balance and Clarify and Lift and Calm together, those amounts should not exceed the total drops that I have listed here for you. Some practical blending tips that will help you when you are creating your special concoctions at home, and you are helping yourself, and you're creating bath salts and a spray or a lotion or something particular for you. One great resource that you have at your fingertips is in the Soul Experiences Facebook page. We have a Soul A to Z reference guide that I have created in there for you. And so it's A to Z. You can look up different ailments. You can look up recipes. I have specific recipes. I have the complementary herbals that go with that, the soul herbals to go with that to create the solutions that you need to help with those particular issues. I also have some other safety guidelines and so forth in there. So you are going to want to go in there, make sure that you get that. When you are creating a blend for yourself, say that you're combining the balance and the clarify together, or you're putting lift and calm together, and you're using that for a particular reason, write that down. Because what you want to be able to do is remember what you did, because it's going to work. And so you want to remember what you did so you can share that with other people. And then you can get on a recipe share with each other, with your mentor and with your friends that you meet here at Soul to be able to help each other. You know, we have this beautiful community of reciprocity where we really love helping everybody be well, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Keep a carrier on hand when you're using the Soul essential oil blends, because those are concentrated. There is no carrier in those. However, the Compass blends are particularly formulated with a carrier. Some mixing utensils you may want to have at your aromatherapy station. Your Soul aromatherapy station is having a stir stick, whether that's stainless steel or a popsicle stick. Have a small funnel so you can get the contents in the bottle, but make sure you always watch the bottle, not the funnel, or else you will overflow and spill. Have some bottles and some jars, a mixing bowl. I prefer a glass mixing bowl that you can mix it all in and then pour it into the bottle or the jar, and having a spatula on hand. You also have access to the Facebook groups, your mentorship support. We do Soul happy hours every month where we share tips, and you can get even more education and training and support and ask questions. And then for the Soul specialist, we have some incredible webinars in the back office for you that are training videos. I talk about each of the blends. There's a lot of aromatherapy. There's a lot of health topics where we integrate aromatherapy in there, as well as integrating with the Soul herbals. I want to thank you so much for joining me for the Soul Essentials Aromatic Journey. I wish you the best in your aromatic journey and your health journey, to be well in mind, body, health. You cannot be in a better place right now with better people. You certainly are surrounded by the best products, by the best people, in the best atmosphere. So be well, everybody. Have a great day.